So we went through a lot of study of the 9th chapter. And we are now going into the second half of the Bhagavad Gita by going into the 10th chapter. Okay. The 10th chapter is called the opulence of the absolute. It's called Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhu means opulence, greatness. So Vaibhavam, Vibhu. So your greatness. So Krishna is revealing his greatness. After speaking the 9th chapter, wherein Krishna is saying in the last Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Nam Namaskuru, very famous shloka, become my devotee, everything will become all right for you. He is next telling Arjuna in the opening of the 10th chapter, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Bhuye Eva Mahabaho Shrunu me Paramam Vachah Yatte Aham Priyamanaya Vakshayami Hitakam Yaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you're my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Till now, whatever I explained, I'm stepping it up one notch above. Better than what I've told you, I'm going to tell you something. Isn't it interesting? Yeah, it's very interesting. You know why? Because Krishna is going to speak about his greatness. Normally in this world, if somebody is going to speak about his greatness, which mostly people do, all these political guys get on top, they will either arrange for somebody else to speak about him, or if nobody speaks, he himself will blurt it out. I am like this, I am like that, I will not do this, ha, hoo, and all that. And finally, he'll go back home and get controlled by something very small. So people are very happy to speak about themselves in the world. People are happy to hear about themselves, you know, glorified and praised and, you know, give accolades to them. They are very happy to hear it. Our ears are very hungry to hear it. And we constantly do it. Krishna is not speaking about himself because he wants to boast. Because he's along with people who are far, 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 far of lower dependent capacity. So nobody wants great praises from chota people, right? Everybody wants great praises from at least peers and big people. Actually, Krishna does not need any praise from anybody. He is self-satisfied, is mentioned. He is self-satisfied. It is mentioned that he is not dependent on anybody's praise or recognition of him. That's the meaning of God. He's Atma Rama. He can generate his own happiness. And he's always happy. He's Nitya Ananda. He's always happy. And therefore, he is not dependent on somebody else or something outside of him to generate his happiness. You must understand, we are all very dependent. For our good being and well-being and our happiness, we need somebody else outside of us. Or something. If I get my Mac, this thing, I will be very happy. If I get an iPhone, I'll be actually far more happy. If he actually recognizes me for all the wonderful things I have done here, I'll be happy. Simply one word is enough here, like that. Our happiness is, you know, we have outsourced the control of our happiness to many other entities and people and things of this world. A self-realized person is a person who takes it back from everybody else and says, I am the controller of my happiness. A devotee is one who gets happiness out of simply serving the Supreme Absolute Truth. Right? So, Krishna is a person, the Supreme Person, who doesn't have to depend on anybody. But since Arjuna is asking a question about his greatness, he has already said in many places, for the sake of Arjuna only he is saying, Yette aham priyamanaya vakshayami hita kamyaya. Hita means for your sake. Kamyaya. Right? The reason I am going to speak this wonderful thing to you is because you're very dear to me. And it will benefit you immensely. So for your sake, I'm speaking. I don't want any praise or anything from anybody. I'm not asking for it. But if they praise me, it's good for them. If they praise me, actually it is good for them. So Krishna is revealing his greatness. God is revealing his greatness in the Bhagavad Gita. You may ask, why is he doing it? Why is he showing off? Why is this necessary? It's necessary because only then we will know the greatness of God. And when we know the greatness of God, we know how tiny we are. When we know how tiny we are, we know we are dependent on God. And when we know we are dependent on God, we will surrender to God. So therefore, greatness of God is a necessary topic that we should study. It's one of the most important topics we should study. We are told in history books about the greatness of so-and-so and this person and that person who fought these wars, conquered and this, that and everything. And we keep hearing eulogies. But actually, it doesn't benefit you in any way to hear all those eulogies. It just makes you feel inferior, makes you feel anxious, you feel you are nobody, everything. But if you hear the glories of Krishna, something amazing happens to you. You become very light. You actually lose importance for all the greatness of this world. You start actually looking at yourself without any comparison to others. You simply start seeing yourself as I am a servant of Krishna and so everybody is. I have a unique identity. I'm a unique person, I'm a unique identity, and my material situation is only temporary. I don't need to compare myself with anybody in this world. I live my own life in association with Krishna and his devotees. And I'm happy. And I'm very happy. So this is to be taken in that way because Krishna is saying so. And Krishna is explaining his greatness. Prabhupada explains right in the beginning, in the purport. Just read, the word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashara Muni, because this is starting with Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Parashara Muni, one who is in full six opulences, who has full strength, full fame, full knowledge, full wealth, beauty and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashara Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion and firm conviction. Again in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations in various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme Lord, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Okay? After saying this, Krishna goes ahead and say about those who know him and those who don't know him. Name vidusuraganah prabhavam namaharshayah ahamadirhi devanam Maharshinam cha sarvashah. Please read the translation. Shanti Vidya Sagar, can you read the translation for text 2?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. Neither the hosts of demigod nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. Thank you.
I am the source of the demigods. Ahamadirhi Devanam. I am the original source of all the devatas. Then he's also saying, Name Vidhu Suraganaha. Demigods don't know me. The great sages also don't know me. Then who knows you? That is going to reveal in this chapter. He's first talking about those who don't know me. It's very interesting. He's saying, I'll tell you something very good. And second shloka is saying, I'll tell you, these people don't know me. The sages and the demigods don't know me. No, this is something very difficult for us sometimes to digest. If somebody comes to your college and says, actually, these professors and the principal, they don't know anything about what I'm going to say and they're useless. They don't know me. I mean, you say, what? If you straight away talk about your authority and say, they don't know the truth. They don't know what is the truth. It's actually shocking because most of this world people worship their demigods and they look upon the sages and everything. But here Krishna is ruling out, Name Vidhu Suraganaha, Prabhavanti Maharshaya. The great Maharshis also don't know me. Right? So we think the other way. We think when we see a saintly person with a long dadi and beard and sitting in the Himalaya with a kamandalu and this thing, we think that he is already great. But here Krishna is saying he is trying to understand, but he doesn't know. And then what about the devatas and the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, everybody is saying they don't know me. They don't know me. So what is Krishna going to do? He's saying that I am going to teach you who I am, something which even the demigods and Maharishis don't know. But you're going to get it from me now. Anybody who reads the Bhagavad Gita will get to know something which even the demigods and Maharishis don't know. Got it? Are you ready to know that? So if you read this purport, which is so wonderful, we don't have the time to read fully. He's actually revealing himself to Arjuna. He's saying, I am here standing in front of you. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And me, no one knows actually. You will see in the next slok also. Yo mam ajam anadim cha vetti lokam maheshwaram asam mudah samartyeshu sarva papai pramuchyate. Such wonderful revelations, such wonderful shlokas. The absolute truth Bhagavan is speaking for welfare of human beings. Krishna's Gandhi, can you read the translation to text 3?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Pranams Maharaj. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undulated among men is free from all sins. Hare Krishna, thank you Maharaj.
Thank you. So, if you know Krishna as the unborn, beginningless, supreme Lord of all the worlds, you'll become free from all sins. That is the great, wonderful knowledge, and the capacity of that knowledge can do to you. What Krishna is going to reveal to you is his greatness. If you know his greatness, all your sins will be wiped out. If you read 10th chapter, all your sins will be wiped out. How many of you want to go ahead with that? How many of you are interested in that? Obviously, it's an offer. Hitakamyaya. He said that, no, it's for your good. So your father will always do things that are good for you, although you may not think it is good. The child's father, the parents are always going to do good things for the father, but due to the child's very small level of understanding, he cannot appreciate the good that comes out of the father's actions on him. But the father doesn't mind and nevertheless do good for him. So Krishna doesn't mind, just a very small chota, this thing. What can you do? But I want to be good to you. I want you to benefit. And so he's speaking it out. Right? So the first symptom is that if you know or read and understand the greatness of Krishna, he's saying you will become freed from all sins. Benefit number one. First he says, those who do not know me. Then he says, what benefit? I told you, hitakam yaya. What is the first benefit? You'll become freed from all sins. That's the first thing that will happen to you. See, it's nothing very great actually. Freeing yourself from sin is not the main thing. You should understand. It's like saying that when you enter the hospital, no, automatically your hands will become clean. Why? Because they'll ask you to use the sanitizer. But the purpose of going to the hospital is not to get your hands cleaned. But that's only the first step in going inside. So Krishna is saying, the first thing that will happen to you, your hands will get cleaned. But really speaking, that's not the main thing. He'll start explaining. That's not the main thing. But that troubles you a lot, right? Sins trouble you a lot, karma and all that. So he said you get freed from that first. I am just giving an overview. Because such people who get to understand the Lord, the absolute truth, and who become sinless are also very rare. Prabhupada opens the purport by saying, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yattati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. He speaks about that because here also Krishna is saying, Veti loka maheshwaram, one who knows me is the Lord of all the planets. And in this Manushyanam Sahasreshu, Krishna is saying, Sahasra means 1,000. Out of thousands of Manushyas, Kaschit Yattati Siddhaye. Hardly one person will achieve some perfection in human life. Out of thousands and thousands of human beings. And Yatatam api Siddhanam. And out of all those thousands of people who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. You should note this. It's not that perfection means is enough. You may become a perfect personality. That doesn't mean you know the truth. Doesn't mean the truth is Krishna. And you may be perfect, you may be pakka, spiritually also you may be realized, but there's a good chance you may not know the absolute truth. In other words, right from clearing yourself of your sins, there are various stages of right to the top, the absolute truth and understanding the absolute truth, Krishna. So Krishna is trying to say that it is very rare for people to understand me. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yattati siddhaye. Same shloka here. Yoma majam anadim cha vetti loka maheshwaram. Asam mudaha. He is free from delusion. Such a person, sarvapapai pramuchyate. He gets free from all sinful reactions, which is the first step. Okay, you should read that purport. Then Krishna goes and reveals Buddhirjnanam asammoha kshama satyam dhamashamaha sukham dukkham bhava bhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahimsa samata tushtis tapodhanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratak vidhaha. I'll, pause here. Because Krishna is describing here, if you read the purport. Dheeraj, can you read the purport? I'm sorry, not the purport, the translation.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Intelligence, the fifth sloka, right?
Yeah.
Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and illusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infinity. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Right?
Now, what does this mean when Krishna is saying they are created by me alone?
He does
Because
not
these
take
are all qualities that are very positive and very nice. Right? So how do human beings achieve these qualities? You can read more and then we will understand. I'm very tempted to go through this beautiful purport, but it's so long. But I would seriously advise you, because Prabhupada explains all these aspects in this. Each one of these qualities will explain, and it's very amazing. He's concluding in the end, in the last but one paragraph, see, all these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society and in the society of the demigods. There are many forms of humanity on other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops himself from within. But the person develops them himself from within. One who engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all the good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we know that the things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna. So these are nice qualities, isn't it? How many of you would like to have these qualities? Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses of the mind, happiness and distress. I'm sure you want only the happiness portion of it. Birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities or learnings are created by me alone. And here Prabhupada is saying finally something very interesting. These are created by Krishna. And if you become Krishna conscious, if you become a lover of Krishna, these qualities will descend on you. From inside you, they'll come out. In other words, these qualities are not something that are coming from outside in. You understand? Many of us try to develop these qualities, say humility. When we hear humility, I should be humble, what you immediately do, you look very humble. The first thing you do is to fake humility physically. It just goes like a program, fatak, it happens. You don't even think about it. I must be humble here. Welcome, please come, I must be humble, immediately you enact it physically, isn't it? And you want to feel humility for a brief moment. And then you, after the guest goes, wow, that was a nice feeling. Let me do that again. So you know what is happening in this? You're feeling it. You're faking it. You're actually faking it at a very physical level and a little bit on the mental level also. Immediately we try to do that. Because our consciousness is on the level of the body and the mind. We immediately translate it and into our body and our mind. So in the process of trying to be humble, you cease to be humble from deep inside. So humility is not an external quality. Like I mentioned to you, when you understand the greatness of Krishna, immediately you'll become humble. Why? You feel very small. You feel very small. And you feel genuinely small out of knowledge. And then we look around and see some guys are very puffed up and full of false ego. You'll see this person does not know Krishna. That's why he's so proud. That's why he's so proud. You can make out the difference. You can make out the difference. So sometimes we have knowledge, we have these assets. Janma Aishwarya Shutashi Bir Yedamana Madapuman Naivar Hatim Abhidhatum Vai Twam Akinchana Gochara. Kunti Devi is praying this in the Bhagavad, you will see this. Janma Aishwarya Shutashi. Good birth, opulences, wealth and everything. Shruta, good learning. Shri means good looks. These four things make people go mad in this world. Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri Yedamana Madha Puman Naivar Hatim Abhidhatum Vai Twam Akinchana Gochara. But for those who don't get bewildered by these things because they don't have it, you are their only property. Very beautiful shloka. Kunti Devi is saying, actually they are very rich. Why? They don't have any other material asset. They have only you. They have only you. So Prabhupada is telling here, if you become a devotee of the Lord, which means you are in love with the Lord in your heart of hearts, these good qualities will automatically come out of you. They'll just be evinced by you. So it is not that we have to separately go and cultivate each quality in the sense of, I must be humble, I must be humble, I must be humble. To some extent, you can do it. Sometimes people are naturally humble a little bit. They have a very, good feeling about humility. And some others will say he has very low self-esteem. It's very funny. They will say that he has very low self-esteem when they see somebody humble. It's not that he has low self-esteem. He's actually very high self-esteem. Why? He's thinking, I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. That's what's really happening. And therefore, he doesn't care for anybody in this world or the values of this world. And to the outside world, it looks like this man is not interacting with anybody. He's like this, he's like that. He's got very low self-esteem. No, he's got very high self-esteem. And you have a very high false esteem about yourself. You have false ego. And you think that is the reality. It's the other way around. So these qualities are not something that you can go externally and cultivate it. They are automatically a product of love of God. Yasya asti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarver gunes tatra samasate sura hara abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoraten asati dhavato bahi. One very beautiful shloka from the Bhagavad. It says that Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana. One who develops pure love for Krishna. Sarvair gunes tatra samasate sura. All the wonderful qualities will come out of him. On the contrary, harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. One who is a abhakta, one who is not a devotee of Hari. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. What good quality can he have? Mano raten asati dhavato bahi. He is just roaming with the chariot of the mind in the external. What good quality can he have? He's chasing material gratification. His investments are all on outside of him. How can he be happy? How can he have good qualities at all? So these are some things that you should reflect deeply. Why Krishna is saying this? My devotee will automatically have these qualities. He doesn't have to separately work on it. So character is naturally there. The so-called material character is a man of good character, we'll say. It's a byproduct of devotion to Krishna. Can you hear that? It's a byproduct of the devotion to Krishna. If you buy, let us say, some particular type of things that people buy. I buy coconuts. Some people will immediately use the coconut pulp for cooking and everything. And they'll take the cover of the coconut. They'll use it for fuel. It's very high calorie fuel. In traditional homes, they'll put the copras, this thing inside. They'll even take off that, straw-like fiber, and they'll use it for making rope. They'll take the rest of the copra. It's called coconut shell charcoal. It's a high selling thing. They'll burn it. Then they'll take the charcoal also and sell it further. Then they will take the coconut's fiber also and sell it for rope. Right? So these are all byproducts of the coconut. But you bought the coconut for scraping it and using it on your vegetable or for making sambar. In Kerala, sambar means you have to put the coconut ground in it. Right? Maybe in Tamil Nadu, they don't use so much coconut. But coconut is required for many things, for cooking. So that is the main thing you bought it for, but there are byproducts. So Krishna is telling here, if you focus on the coconut pulp, automatically the other byproducts will come with you. Okay? An example, this is one example that I can give you, but many things, the kitchen, all you ladies who are sometimes cooking in the kitchen know how to intelligently use many of these byproducts that you have from any one purchase that you would make. So is it an important thing for you to know? It is an important thing for you to know that lot of good material qualities will naturally stem from the root quality of being a devotee. Because that is the statement Krishna is trying to make here. I created them, and if you get attached to me, they'll automatically be expressed by you. So who is of good character? A devotee is automatically of good character. To a reporter in America who came to Prabhupada and asked, what is the meaning of devotee? He said, they have not heard these words, bhakta and devotee and all that. Somehow he said, you keep guys saying devotee, devotee and all that. And what is the meaning of a devotee? He asked. It's a technical question he asked. So Prabhupada looked at him and said, how can I tell this fellow, he may not know Indian culture and all that. So Prabhupada looked at him for a moment and said, a devotee is a gentleman. He told him. Very simply he told him, a devotee is a gentleman. Ah, okay, he got it. He got it. But Prabhupada spoke that often. He said, I am creating a society of gentlemen who know culture, who have knowledge, who have humility, who treat others with due respect because they see Krishna, they see that this person is a part and parcel of Krishna. It reminds me of Krishna. And when people treat each other respectfully in Krishna consciousness, automatically they'll be gentlemen. Because they're dealing with the highest value-oriented Krishna consciousness, which is what they are aspiring for. Automatically, everything else comes out as a byproduct. Good behavior, gentlemanliness, good character, everything. Okay? This is a very important thing to know. I'm moving ahead. I think you should read that whole purport. If you read any one of them, let's see. Let's read one of it. If you look at the a second paragraph, Prabhupada starting in that Satyam. It's in italics. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he's a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. See, very wonderfully explained. He said here, truth does not mean you should speak diplomatically. Truth should be said. Prabhupada says, Satyam bruyat priyam bruyat. Try to speak the truth palatably, but don't compromise on the facts and the truth. Sometimes you have to straightforwardly speak. To one reporter, Prabhupada said, I may have to speak the truth, but it may not be very palatable to you. Because I should speak the truth as a sadhu, and it may not be palatable to you. Mostly truth is not very nice to hear. It's not nice to hear. It's not at all nice to hear, if I make a statement, you're going to die. What is the use of you doing all these things? Oh, we'll say this guy is very negative, very pessimistic. But there's no point being optimistic about something that is negative. You are going to die, and I should tell you about it, and I should prepare you so that you leave your body wonderfully. I should speak the fact and train you how to deal with the facts of truth. That is truthfulness. It's not that I speak according to what you want to hear. Everybody wants to hear something, some story and some nice gossip and some such a nice things like that. And then if I speak according to that, make a joke and speak Bhagavad Gita in a strange way to you, entertain you with it, you laugh and there are jokes. And not that I don't joke, I do joke. But I don't want to compromise on the truth that has to be spoken to you. Instead, if I do a lot of nice, strange storytelling and gossiping and about the latest stuff that's come out in social media, and then in between say some funny things in Bhagavad Gita or put Bhagavad Gita there, finally at the end of it, you feel, what a wonderful session it was. It is not, actually. You did not benefit. Hitakamyaya has not happened to you. You have not benefited. You got entertained. You got entertained. There are many who speak like that. They entertain you. They are very good speakers, but you learn very less Bhagavad Gita. That's not the truth. The truth is you get to know exactly what Krishna is saying as it is. I may not like it, but that's the truth. So if you read through each one of these qualities, you'll pick up some very good information. Okay? Now, let's go to the 6th shloka. Maharshayah sapta purve chatvaro manavastata madbhava manasa jata yesham loka imaha praja. The 7 great sages. Okay, who wants to read that? Sandhya Natarajan, you want to read this? Text 6.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. Thank you, Maharaj.
So Krishna is starting to explain origins in the material world. Okay, these are simple small shlokas. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tatvatah so avikalpena yogena yujyatena atra samshayah. Please read, Priya. You want to read that shloka 7 translation?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this, there is no doubt. Hare Krishna.
So, opulence and mystic power, Krishna is going to describe it. And before that, he's saying, if you become convinced of my opulence and mystic power, you will engage in unalloyed devotional. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Now he started explaining his opulence. Okay. Before explaining, he said that if you get to know this opulence carefully, you will become engaged in devotional service. And now he started saying everything material and spiritual comes from me. And wise people who know this perfectly engage in service to me. And they worship me with all their hearts. This is the beginning of Krishna describing slowly the qualities of the person who has understood the greatness of the Lord. Okay? Now, I want to just pause here and try to understand, because previous to this in the 9th chapter, what did Krishna speak about mostly? He spoke a little bit about his opulences, but he focused a lot on his devotee and devotional service. Okay? And somehow this greatness of the Lord seems to be very much connected with devotional service. Why? Because it brings out the idea of when we have understood the greatness, then we start doing something about it. Prabhupada said it's not enough to say God is great, you must know how he is great. He made a very interesting statement. It's not enough to say God is great. God is great. You must know how he is great, why he is great. So in 10th chapter, when you read, you will come to know technical details about why God is great. So Krishna is first foundationally saying, everything material and spiritual comes from me only. The foundation of everything material and spiritual is me. It's a very powerful statement to make. Ordinary Manushyas don't make this type of statement. Some mad people do make this statement. If you're making such a statement, you should either be God or you should be mad. You should either be God or you should be mad. You cannot say, everything comes from me. Nobody dares say that in this world. I've never heard a statement made by anybody, I am the supreme, everything comes from me. Sometimes Bhagavad Gita people read and they say, what, Krishna is boasting himself so much. It's not boasting. He's stating who he is. He's stating who he is. How can you say that if you ask somebody, who are you? And if he tells you who he is, if you crisscross, see, I often meet people who come to the temple and somebody says, Maharaj, this is an important VIP who has come today, wants you. He's a regional bank manager of SBI, or he is like, the managing director of so-and-so big company, and he is like, MP from so-and-so place. So he comes and then he says, I am MP from so-and-so place. My name is so-and-so, or he says, I'm the managing director. Because I asked him, so maybe I'd like to know something about you, sir. Then he will say, I'm director of saying, I'm CEO of so-and-so company, and I handle so many people under me. And this is the product I do. And I got an award recently for this from Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri Award, and da-da-da-da-da. If I immediately tell him, you're boasting a lot about yourself, he'll say, you asked me about me, man, what can I do? I'm saying these things. And you may be feeling that, this is too much. I'm not so good as you. And I immediately feel bad about it, the fact that I'm so tiny, and I want to tell you that you're boasting about yourself to me. No, but you're the one who asked me the question, who are you? I'm just answering the question. What can I do if I happen to be a CEO of a big company? I have to tell you the truth. Same way, Arjuna has asked Krishna, tell me about you and your greatness. So, aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from me. I'm the basis of everything. And then he go on telling who I am. He's defining Bhagavan means who, Krishna means who. We can't blame Krishna for saying that he is boasting. No, he's just answering a question. He's been asked, who are you? Because Arjuna is asking that, Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama. What is the ultimate truth, Brahman? Please tell me. Krishna is telling, I am the Brahman. I am the root of everything. And when he says that, he says, what are Krishna, you're boasting so much about yourself. No, that's just the truth I'm saying. I'm just saying the truth. So Krishna will now start telling many things about himself. But before that, he will qualify and say that there are people who know about me and they have completely changed. What is their qualification? Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. It's not that I am speaking about me. These people start speaking about me more than I speak. My devotees start speaking more about me. I am only speaking officially just enough, according to your question. Because it's a question you have asked me, I'm technically answering it. The truth happens to be me, by the way. I may be sitting on your chariot and holding the reins and this thing in my hand, but I happen to be the supreme absolute truth. You asked me, so I have to answer it. Very simple. But my devotees know they will speak so much about me. So if you read the Bhagavatam, you'll see it's all about Krishna being spoken by devotees, and it is far greater relishable than Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is plain facts. The Bhagavatam will take off from where Bhagavad Gita stops, because Krishna is being serious in Bhagavad Gita, saying, you must surrender to me. Sarva dharman parityaja, become my devotee, like that, giving instructions. But the devotees will start, if you open up Bhagavatam and if you start reading, you will see that you will dive into completely something, because the devotees will say so many things about Krishna which Krishna does not reveal in the Bhagavad Gita. It is amazing amount of information. But none of that Krishna is speaking. He's speaking officially. You ask me, who is Brahman? This is the answer. You ask me, who I am? Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Everything officially is answering. No exaggeration at all. No exaggeration at all. But when devotees speak about the Lord, they don't care about exaggeration of that. They don't exaggerate. They just speak. He did this. He did this to Sudama. He did this to Vratrasura. And this happened with the gopis. This happened with this. Then he did this. So amazing things they start speaking about his qualities and about his nature and everything. Then everything becomes far, far hugely pleasurable. So here Krishna is saying, Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. I am going to speak officially only to you, but my devotees machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. Okay, please read that. Somebody, who wants to read that? Priya 2. Priya number 2. Priya A, Priya B. Yeah. The blue Priya and the red Priya. I'm talking to the red Priya.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Because Krishna has used your word here. He said Priyamanaya in the first sloka. Go ahead. Is there an internet difficulty?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me, Maharaj?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. The text 8, right?
Text 9.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Hare Krishna
Thank
Maharaj.
you. So Krishna is suddenly jumping to his devotees. You see how he keeps saying about his devotees everywhere. He can't help talking about his devotees. So here he's saying, I am talking to you only what is necessary. Matchitta madgata prana. The thoughts of my devotees dwell in me. The lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Katha means stories about me. They speak to each other and they revel and relish it a lot. Okay? So, in these 3 shlokas, which are very famous shlokas, the text 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, very famous shlokas. There's a lot of meaning in it, and the time is up now for us. So I would request you to read that wonderful purport of the qualities and also read this famous 8, 9, 10, 11 shlokas, at least. Okay? I was thinking I could finish up to 11, but looks like it's getting a little late. Any question or comment on today? I avoided PPT completely today. I decided I don't want a PPT. I want to directly have you open the Gita and look into it and read it along with me for a change. So you have any comment or a question?